Ministre.
Yes, Madam Speaker. First of all, let me thank all the honourable members and the Deputy Prime Minister and all the ministers who have intervened on these three bills. We all know, Madam Speaker, I don't want to keep saying it, but we all know the unprecedented state of economic affairs which the previous government left us. How they dilapidated the public funds, public finances of the country, why they deliberately manipulated the economic figures to paint an illusory positive picture of the financial and economic health of our country. Madam Speaker, we could not afford to continue with business as usual and sacrifice the future stability of our nation. Bold actions had to be taken to avert as far as possible the risk of us joining the League of Junk Nations. The Deputy Prime Minister just explained, I also explained in my speech, what happens when you become, you label as a junk state. We don't even have to think about the problems that we would have had. These bills, therefore, mark a pivotal step in our vision to lead Mauritius from abyss to prosperity and secure a thriving, fair, and sustainable future for our people. The journey from recklessness to responsibility has not been an easy one, as the Deputy Prime Minister just said. Implementing structural reforms is inherently challenging. It demands significant time, patience, and courage so that you can deliver lasting change that will benefit the whole society at large. This is the only way to build a prosperous nation where every citizen will have the opportunities to live up or to her aspirations. Il faut, comme a dit le Deputy Prime Minister, redonner à la jeunesse mauricienne le droit à l'espoir et à l'ambition. The path we have proposed is built around three main pillars: economic renewal, a new social order, and fiscal consolidation. The bills give concrete form to measures announced in the budget speech and the annex, as I said, reflecting months of analysis and reflection across the broad spectrum of Mauritian society. The three bills together, Madam Speaker, amend 73 existing laws, providing a comprehensive answer to a difficult and complex context. The challenges are indeed daunting, but let me remind the House, perhaps people don't realize it. The previous government, they amended 96 of existing laws, lumping together laws that had nothing to do with the budget or the finance bill. It's as if an occasion to slip in things. We didn't do this. This is why we bring three bills separately. At the heart of our economic renewal are strategic reforms designed to modernize our industries and make our country future ready. We are charting an innovative development path by ushering in a new investment and export-driven economic model. We are breaking away from what the previous government's flawed and unsustainable consumption-driven approach. We are giving a new momentum to investments in emerging sectors, including the blue economy, renewable energy, AI-enabled industries, and sustainable tourism. All this to promote resilience and high value addition. This budget, Madam Speaker, will fuel our transition to a digital, knowledge-driven economy. It is an undeniable fact that the AI revolution will have a much bigger impact on the world than the Industrial Revolution. Already, I can tell you something that might shock some of you. The new CEO of Mauritius Telecom is planning using AI so to have a personal teacher for every student in the country. Would you believe this? He's from Singapore, don't forget. So these are the kind of things that we expect from AI. We do not want to miss out on this historic transformation. We cannot, and we must not be behind on the curve. We must be ahead of the curve. The Finance Bill renews our social pact to reshape our future together as one people and as one nation. We must grow our economy, but with a commitment to inclusiveness and social justice. To take a phrase that just the Deputy Prime Minister just used, sans casser le ressort. Otherwise, no growth, we are back to square one. Growth is meaningless also if not shared. This is why through the Finance Bill we are amending the relevant legislations to provide for, amongst others, the gradual phasing out of the CSG allowances over the next 2 years. I just explained on the PNQ what the consequences would have been. For the increase of the revenue minimum guarantee allowance to ensure that the full-time worker earns a minimum monthly revenue of 20,000 rupees, and also for maintaining the equal chance allowance of 2,000 rupees per month for households earning less than 20,000 rupees monthly. Madam Speaker, we have made the necessary, though difficult and complex, decision to gradually move the age of eligibility of the PRB from 60 to 65. This will ease intergenerational inequity and safeguard the pension system for decades to come. Let me once again remind the House and the population, we have not changed the retirement age. It was 65, it is still 65. As a compassionate government, we have also provided for the payment of a monthly income support of 10,000 rupees to individuals aged 60, 20,000 rupees if it's a couple, and above, who will not qualify for the basic retirement pension subject to eligibility criteria. We are setting up also a fund, 10 billion rupees, for the price stabilization fund with an initial 2 billion allocation this fiscal year. I just explained that, I think, in the PNQ, to protect the purchasing power of the population. Our policies, Madam Speaker, are guided by the need to balance social coherence and fiscal stewardship. In view of the fiscal mismanagement of the previous government, we had no choice but to come up with a comprehensive fiscal consolidation plan. We are restoring prudence and credibility to our public finances with concrete measures aimed at reducing both the budget deficit and the public sector debt. We have ensured that those who are less privileged are supported, while those who have the means do contribute their fair share to rebuilding Mauritius. Through these amendments, Madam Speaker, in the Finance Bill, let me remind the House, some 81% of employees will now not pay any income tax, 81%. And 75,000 individuals earning between 500,000 rupees and 1 million rupees will be paying less tax. B, we are removing VAT on a range of essential foods to protect the purchasing power of the most vulnerable. And C, we are giving certainty to individuals and the business community as well about the temporary measures. The Deputy Prime Minister just stressed it. Temporary nature of some of the new tax measures, such as the fair share contribution. In spite of the urgency for fiscal consolidation, we have not raised VAT. We have not raised the rate of VAT because we all know it is a regressive tax and will hurt consumers, especially more the lower rung of the ladder and the modest income. Before I come to the specific points made by the two honourable members of the opposition, let me make some comments on the criticisms made, both inside and outside the House. First, comments have been made by those who were desperately, I suppose, trying to come out of the gutter that they have been consigned to. One gets the impression that some prophets of doom in the opposition, including the former Minister of Finance of Sabat Dodo frame, are shouting from the top of Peterborough that this budget is ringing the death toll of the economy. Si cette l'idée de ce qu'il dit, je ne sais pas combien de fois il devait mourir. C'est le ridicule tué, je voulais dire. They are literally as if praying day and night for the country to fail so that they can come out like vultures to feed on the cadavers of people. On the other hand, there are many true patriots, including ordinary citizens, but also some prominent economic operators who have, in the public at large, who are spurring us. They realize, they understand, they're encouraging us, expressing their gratitude for the measure that we have taken in time in this particularly challenging conjuncture. Don't believe what you see all the time. I know there's a team at the SunTrust. As soon as we speak, they write. They're paid monthly. They are paid because, you know, some have unlimited money, they pay. And some people think, hey, people are criticizing. Few people. People understand the catastrophic situation that we inherited and the need for bold and courageous actions. There is, Madam Speaker, a Bhojpuri expression which I think is very appropriate to describe the development philosophy of the previous government. What they said, I said, Ek din ke raja, sau din pik manga.
Will you translate?
In Creole, un jour le roi, sans jour mendiant. Basically, that's what it says. We do not want to perpetuate and instill this mode of living in our population. The House will note that this is not only due to the allowances provided right, left, and center by the previous government. I'm talking about the Gini coefficient. Somebody mentioned the Gini coefficient. This is not only due to the allowances provided. I mean, this is due to the allowances provided, left, right, and center by the previous government. Out of where? Huge amount of printed money. And this led to a significant level of rise in the debt level. These allowances were not sustainable. In addition, printing of money, we all know, a student who studies economics in Form 5 knows. If you print money, you will intensify inflationary pressures and drive inflation at a rate which is going to be much higher. It was 11.3% in February of 2023. The improvement in the Gini coefficient has no meaning if the purchasing power of the population has been eroded by significant increase in inflation. It's an illusion. Third, let me make clear any confusion that Honorable Adina Juval might have created or tried to create in the minds of people regarding the age of eligibility for the BRP. In the budget speech, I announced that we are going to increase the age eligibility for the basic pension to 65 in a phased manner over a period of 5 years using a sliding scale. The operative words are sliding scale, which I don't think you understood. The 5-year transition starts after the 1st of September of this year. It ends on the 31st of August 2030. That is, in the first year. Let me clarify. Let's first, you don't understand what a sliding scale is. In the first year, as from September, 1st of September 2025 to the 31st of August 2026, the BRP eligibility age is being increased by 1 year. That is, a person reaching 60 will receive BRP out from the 1st of September 2026 at the age of 61. In the second year, that is from 1st of September 2026 to the 31st of August 2027, again the BRP eligibility age is being increased by 2 years, such that a person reaching 60 will receive BRP as from the 1st of September 2028, that is at the age of 62. That is what a sliding scale is. I could go on in the third year, from 1st of September 2027 to 31st of August 2028, the eligibility is being increased by 3 years. In other words, a person reaching 60 years during that period will receive BRP as from the 1st of September 2030 at the age of 63. It's not that we're cutting the pension for 60 years and you will only get at 65. It's a sliding scale. I could go on for the 4th year, for the 5th year. And until it will be increased again, so that by the time, by 5 years, the person reaching 60 will, on the 1st of September 2034, at the age of 65. That is what a sliding scale is. This completes the 5-year sliding scale increase in the age of eligibility. After this 5-year period, that is from 1st of September 2030 and beyond, the BRP eligibility age will be 65. I hope that clears the confusion in the mind of Honorable Juval, and he will realize it is intellectually dishonest to qualify the work done on the finance bill by the civil servants and the advisors as amateurism. I think you fail to grasp the fact that it is a sliding scale. Let me now come to the 4th point on the CSG allowances. The previous government had planned to end abruptly, and I say it again, I said it in the PM, abruptly, it's in the speech. The leader of the opposition voted for that the CSG allowances be stopped abruptly on the 30th of June 2025. This was clear in the amendments of the Finance Miscellaneous Act of 2024. As the compassionate government, we are ensuring that the CSG allowances are gradually phased out over the next 2 years. More importantly, Madam Speaker, all persons on the social register of Mauritius will continue to receive these allowances in full, including the independence allowance. 5th, on the increase in the excise duty on vehicles. I already stated in a reply to a PQ, I think last Tuesday. The purpose of increasing the excise duty on motor vehicles is twofold. First, to curb the rate of increase in the number of vehicles on our roads. We've seen what congestion we have, of how many accidents and all this. And secondly, to address the widening trade deficit and significant outflow of foreign currency. Do you know, Madam Speaker, for the 1 month, the last month, we lost from these imports of vehicles, they tried to beat the deadline, $200 million in 1 month. So approximately 9.6, 9.7 million rupees in 1 month. Last year, I said that before in the speech. Last year, 18 million rupees in 1 year, just for cars imported. If you take all vehicles together, it was around 24 billion rupees. We could not extend the time by more. There was no question of extending. 6th, on the deterioration of the exchange rate. Let me remind the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, during the last 10 years, under the previous government, the rupee has depreciated by 46% against the dollar. 46%. We all know everything we import, practically everything is in dollars. So obviously, if your dollar is appreciating against the rupee is depreciating, everything you import is going to cost more. And therefore, prices will go up. Following the implementation of the new monetary policy measures by the now independent Bank of Mauritius, there's greater stability in the value of the rupee. In fact, the rupee has appreciated, Madam Speaker, against the dollar. Compared to them, 46% depreciation, the rupee has appreciated by some 3.5, 3.6%. 7th, the qualified domestic minimum top-up, the QDMTT. As rightly stated, very well explained by Honourable Utim. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I think, has not understood the concept of QDMTT. We had to introduce this tax to preserve our tax base. I think Honourable Utim explained it very well, but let me add. In 2022, the previous government had already introduced the enabling provisions for this tax. They introduced it, but regulations were never made. As at date, around 30 jurisdictions, including South Africa, UAE, Singapore, UK, and the majority of EU countries have already introduced QDMTT in their domestic legislation. Mauritius, therefore, if we don't do this, would be at risk to losing its tax base against these jurisdictions. This will ensure that Mauritius is compliant with the OECD rules. Madam Speaker, I must emphasize that flexibility has been provided in the bill for regulations to be made for the provision of incentives if required. In this context, a special tax credit will be worked out together with the MRA in consultation with stakeholders and implemented by way of regulations to provide relief to those companies which would be subject to the QDMTT. We mentioned this before. The Ministry of Finance has taken a commitment following discussions with stakeholders that those tax credits and reliefs will take effect as from the same date as the tax will become applicable. Eighth, on the reduction of the VAT registration threshold from 6 million to 3 million. Let me remind the House that by joining the VAT system, I think many people, in fact, don't realize, the new VAT registered businesses will be able to recover VAT paid on inputs used, that is, on the raw materials, the semi-finished products, as well as equipment and machinery and all this, in the production of goods and services. The threshold, let me remind the House, the threshold at one time was 2 million at one time. Furthermore, the reduction in the VAT registration threshold will create a level playing field and fair competition among operators in the same business activity. Ninth, on the grading of contractors. The contractor grading system is being democratized in a way to provide greater opportunities for SME contractors. They were being kept out of the system. Only one person was getting all the contracts, as you know. The revised grading system has been aligned with the ceiling set out in the public procurement legislation to ensure fairness but also coherence. Additionally, provisions are being made for the registration of micro-contractors to enable them to participate in these government projects. Finally, Madam, regarding the double taxation of dividends under the fair share contribution, let me remind again the Leader of the Opposition that the solidarity levy, which was introduced by the former government, was applicable on leviable income, that is for levies, which included dividends paid by resident companies. For the purposes of fair share contribution, a similar definition of the term dividends has been used. Madam Speaker, we realize that navigating through the rough seas ahead will not be easy, but we are convinced that through our collective effort and mutual support, we will steer the country to a secure and stable future. Let me assure the House that the reforms in this budget are carefully calibrated. Again, I say time-bound. The Deputy Prime Minister also said it. It is time-bound and guided by our objective to reconstruct the economy and our society. In this context, Madam Speaker, it's good that I quote Moody's, which has brought out a small report. They will have a full report, which is, I think, next week. And look what they say this morning from Moody's. Delays, and I quote, delays in fiscal consolidation that lead to persistently large fiscal deficits, causing debt to stabilize at a high level, would be likely to result in a rating downgrade. They said this. They had said it before, they're saying it black and white. End of quote. According to Moody's, if Mauritius implements a comprehensive fiscal consolidation package that offers the prospect of reversing the rise in government debt, the outlook could be classified as stable. As we achieve fiscal stability and economic recovery, we will pursue a light tax policy. This is an objective we plan to achieve within our 5-year mandate, and bring in this Fiscal Responsibility Act so that no government can act as irresponsibly as they did. Through these bills, Madam Speaker, we are acting with empathy, and we are also acting with a clear sense of responsibility. As we ask every Mauritian to contribute to the national efforts to save Mauritius from the abyss, we will also ensure that every Mauritian will share in the recovery and the benefit of growth. We hope will touch all the people of Mauritius, not just a few. Let us therefore embrace the reforms, not as a burden, but as a foundation. Let us together rebuild Mauritius' bridge to the future, strong and united. Let me end also by thanking the team at the Ministry of Finance, from the FS to the economic advisor to all the other advisors, and also the Secretary of the Cabinet and the staff of my PMO, and also the people from the Solicitor General onwards, from the State Law Office. With these words, Madam Speaker, I commend these three bills to the House.